My name's Dan MacKinnon. I am out of Sarasota, Florida, which is, if you don't know where that is, I'm an hour and a half north of Naples and an hour south of Tampa on the beautiful sugar sandy beaches of Siesta Key, Longboat Key, and Sarasota. So, if you've never been down there, check it out. It's a fun place. I'm so glad to be back. I think we're going to chat about some creative ways to take your listing opportunities. And if you don't have any listings right now or anything coming up, we can, pivot some of that into um, just getting stuff on social and getting creative with things. So, um, yeah,
Well,
that's
I
my
don't
intro,
even have to give
Kristen.
you an intro. You did it yourself.
Yeah,
And
but
I love
well,
that you're in
Sean
the
usually
back
gives it,
seat
and
of the
he's like,
car with
"Oh,
a
this is
mic.
Dan."
This is Dan,
Yeah, I
everybody.
mean, it's really not that hard to. It's really not that hard. I just unplug this. It's all like one little thing. It comes out, so it's not that hard to deal with.
I know, I just love that you brought it and you're on the road ready to go. It's adorable.
Dan, do you know
Yeah,
who
no, I
Charlie
got it.
Kirk is?
Charlie Kirk. Is that a comedian or political guy?
Political guy. But you have to watch a video of him later. You remind me of him so much. Every time I see him talk, I'm like, that's Dan. All
That's
right,
not,
carry
it's
on.
not good. Let's
No,
try
no,
to
no.
keep politics out of this big guy.
Just his personality. Just his
God damn
personality.
it.
He's very smart and like well
I'm
spoken. So
hilarious.
it's a
So
compliment.
Kristen asked me to come on here last week because somebody canceled. I'm not going to bring up their name because I actually know who it is, but let's blackmail them a little bit too. Um But yeah, so we came on and we were chatting about different things, and to be honest, there's been a lot of people that have been reaching out recently or talking to me about getting stale on social and trying to come up with creative ways. And I've been really busy with some listings lately, so we've had to kind of take that creative route and jump into a little bit more storytelling and different ways to bring people into the situation. So I thought that might be a decent jump off point for this. So I definitely don't have a plan. I normally have like this big ol' presentation and notes. I'm usually not like a fly off the seat of my kid's seat here. But we're gonna do that today. So what I want, it's kind of a smaller group, which is awesome. I love that. That's great. Um, please interact. Please ask questions. If someone asks questions in the chat, I'm not watching the chat. So just someone,
I'll watch
if
the
you're
chat.
not audioed up, then just throw some in the chat. So I guess I'm gonna give a quick synopsis of some of the cool stuff that I've been doing lately that I think that it's been working for me. It's stuff that for me, I always want to bring impactful stuff when I talk about anything. And to be honest, I haven't really talked too much about this with too many people because it's been really working for me. Um, and I think that there's some pieces that align to how to set up a listing from appointment to actually presenting it to go live. So hands up if you're on video. Actually, I don't give a crap. If you've ever used HighNote, it's a really cool software. Check it out. It's highnote.io. I'm not, if you get it, take a screenshot and tell them Dan sent you. I'm not affiliated with them, but I do pay a bill. So I'd love for them to, I've been telling everybody about it lately. Anyways, HighNote is an absolutely awesome software. I'm going to pull it up right here. Can you let me
Yes.
post,
1 second.
Kristen? So HighNote I've been using recently because what I realized is I was sending over a lot of information over to listing presentations to people in their email, and it just was overwhelming. It was just too much, and it didn't really prioritize what I was talking about. Now let me back up a little bit because I realize as I'm saying this that it is not probably common for a lot of you guys to be sending any listing stuff through email. So in Florida, we have a lot of listing or sellers who don't live around here. So they're out of state, out of place. So a lot of our stuff is digital. A lot of it is video. So some of this stuff I'm going to show you is through that. But I also feel like it does show for anyone that I go meet with. I talk about all this stuff, but I leave the meat of our presentation and the talking point to overviews and kind of understandings and getting to know the conversation of the person in the relationship. Where this little presentation, whether you're emailing it to anyone that is out of state or far from you, or just giving it to them after you meet with them, I do think it's great. So I'm going to show you what my HighNote looks like, and this is pretty much my listing presentation.
Dan,
Yes.
Do you send like a pre-listing package or do you send everything digitally? Just curious. I know some people send an actual like package before they show up.
I send nothing through the mail. Yeah,
Okay,
I send
so
nothing through the mail. This is
you have
just
everything
me.
set up email.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see here.
I can vouch for HighNote. I've been using it for about a year now, and I use it for my pre-listing package. And I have only lost maybe one out of the last 15 listing presentations I've gone to. I use it for buyer, like for offer presentation as well, when the agent wants offers emailed in, and we've only lost a couple times. We usually win when we send it via HighNote.
So it's
Ooh,
loading.
la
Give me
dee
a
da.
second
Mm-hmm.
here.
Love you, Kristen.
You better.
All right. All right, cool. So can anybody see that screen there?
Yep.
All right, cool. So this is one I just sent out last night, actually. They don't take that long to go through. And here's the thing is I'm not really telling you guys to use HighNote. I'm telling you to use the concept of this as a creative way to present things. Now, we're going to talk about some creative ways throughout this process, but I do think that this opens up the conversation that you are professional, but then you can showcase things in a different way than most people. I think most agents are showing up with paper, mail, PDF emails. I think this is just one of those pieces that kind of just pushes the envelope a little further on how you can be creative. That's what this is about. If you're not looking to be creative, I don't know, this conversation is just whatever. So, this is how people get it. They'll get a link, write an email, and say, hey, check out this link. This is all the listing stuff I went through. This is, it's going to say, hey, Mary Beth and Monty, please see the information, blah, blah, blah. I do a market value overview. So this is a PDF that here's in HighNote. It allows you to in their PDF, so they don't have to download anything, which is nice. So this is just like an overview of what I would say in mostly in an email, but it's just on a PDF sheet. So it just goes through, hey, I prepared this stuff for you. Here's some initial property values. Here what we should list at. Here's the average days on market, yada, 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 yada. Really kind of overview points of the thing. Now, the next thing is going to be, I'm just dropping the CMA. I'm dropping a quick CMA. Those are two things that we use around here. They're customized to them. That's it. I drop in a seller net sheet to talk right about, hey, this is what we're going to talk about. Or, what you could walk away with if we sell it a little bit lower of a price, blah, blah, blah. Here's commissions, because in the United States of America, we are getting our freedom back by getting sued about our commissions. So I like to talk about them a lot. So I actually put this whole sheet together that says, hey, here's this. In this situation, I normally don't do this. I normally do not take 2.5%, but they've done a handful of deals with me. But this is all kind of inside, I talk about, hey, this is a 5% commission, 2.5 and 2.5. Here's what you're going to get, blah, 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 blah. I do that because then I don't have to answer any questions that are not brought up to me. Here is the gist of why I'm showing you all this though. Normally in a listing presentation, we're trying to balance between talking numbers that are always uncomfortable and then talking how quickly can we sell your home. And we're leaving out a large piece of things, which is how great we are at our jobs. And I assume that most people that are on this mastermind are pretty creative people, because that's kind of the gist of the mastermind. We're all looking for, different ways to jump in and do something. Now, the coolest part I like about this though, is that for the rest of the time you show people anything, show any of these sellers anything, even if this is a buyer, if you're trying to win over buyers, you can do the same thing. The rest of it's storytelling. So right here, you're going to go in, it's listing with local life homes. This is more of like somewhat of a corporatized view of what we do for our marketing. And this is just going to load real slow. But it's going to go over like what the listing process is, professional photography and drone work. We do 360 Matterport and Zillow, blah, blah, blah. Our open houses, how they go. So that will go for them, and they can see the basics of what we do to list it. And then we link our creative video marketing. Now, I'm not going to send them to my Instagram. I'm not going to send them to my Facebook. I'm just going to hard download it, host it somewhere, and then post it right here. This way, they can hit view. It is on a Google Drive, so it does just open to a Google Drive if you want to do that. Either way, it opens up, they watch it, you go through it. Then here's one of the biggest pieces. If you follow me along for this whole thing, this has been a game changer for me, friends. And it's such a simple thing when you come down to trying to get the deal over anyone else. Now, it's not always the game changer because not everyone's down for it. I lost a listing last week. You know why? It's because they wanted me to list their home 100%, and there's no way in hell I'm doing that. So that was kind of like why I lost it. On the other hand, though, they loved this piece. And what it is a marketing plan. It's a one-page marketing plan that talks about what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, and some thoughts behind the things. Now, if you're a realtor and you look over this, half of it's pretty basic. It's like, yeah, of course we're going to do professional photographs. Of course we're going to do professional video or in drone work. Of course we're going to do this, this, and this. Sorry, I'm in my car, so the internet's just going to go slow. So hopefully, am I clear, by the way? I didn't even ask that.
You're better when you're
All right,
small.
cool. We'll have to fill the air while we're waiting.
You're so clear, man.
That's awesome. So I don't know why this is taking 9 years to pull up, but either way, this is a marketing plan. What I go over, oh, damn it, I really wish this would open up. Come on, come on. All right. Well, it's not, and I'm not going to let you guys just. All right. So what we do is I basically go over and give a synopsis, and I say, hey, I really see these things in your home. Excuse me. We were looking at there was a home that was a really upgraded home. They got one of the first builds in the community, and they're still selling new construction. So our marketing plan, I needed to tell them how we could tell buyers why that home was going to be better. Now, the problem is they wanted to list $50,000 more than what the new builds were for. So here's the fun part that you have to extract yourself from as a realtor. Stop thinking numbers, stop thinking anything. And at the end of the day, it's how can we get people in the door? How can we get clicks on the article or on the listing pages? How can we do any of that? At the end of the day, that's all it is. And I learned, and this is all going up to some cool results that I'm going to share. And I think that that's made me double down more on this. So the marketing plan needs to be what story are we going to tell along the entire time that this home is listed, before it's even listed, when we're shooting photos, when we are taking a video. And one of those things is we're going to say, hey, I can read this vision right here. Total relaxation. This one's for different, not the new build. We will create a video of relaxing and peaceful living among the beautiful garden area, updated an expensive home and private courtyard pool with the additional casita ready for visitors or family. So this family has a really cool courtyard home, and they put this whole huge garden on the side, and then they also have a casita. So I go into a little bit more talking about below more about how we can get into shooting different video and showing that to bring people in and showing, hey, it's much easier to buy this home than build an outbuilding, which is really big in Florida now because a lot of people moving here with their parents. The other one with the new construction was, hey, we're going to show people how, in a blink of an eye, they don't have to upgrade their home, because buying a brand new home, you're still going to have to upgrade it. You still have to put the blinds. It's all dry and stale versus the home that's already done. So long story short on all this, I really, what we're trying to do is we're trying to create to the sellers, not anyone else really. It is going to be the basis of our whole, tale and in selling the home. But we really want to start with that seller and show them that we're not just putting up a sign and we don't just understand the market and we don't just understand how we can price a home, but we're adding extra value that is going to come from digital marketing. Now, all of us want to put the pictures and all that stuff up, but now this story starts creating a timeline and a storyline for us to start telling people, okay, how do I tell people that buying this home for $50,000 more than a new construction is better for them? Well, I guess you don't have to spend time putting up that awning. I guess the expansive lanai outside is much better than the neighbors. You can now start coming up with so many different targeted, detailed concepts for all of your content around this listing. And what you're doing is you're now fulfilling what you told your sellers to do. You're now coming across as a better storyteller because you're actually telling a story. And I think this comes from a little bit my own frustrations from a lot of social media with people being like, do you want to know this? And then it's just like the most generic thing in the world. It just feels like we're just super stale. At least for me last year, I was super burnt out on content. So I think that, some of this stuff is if you're not into storytelling, learn how to storytell. It's just like drawing. You learn how to do it. You learn how to get better. And if you don't know, message me. I'm sure there's some books or anything I can shoot you over or point you to. Granted, I went to creative advertising school, so I get it. I've been around a lot of it, but at the same time, it's not magic. It's not secrets. I think at the end of the day, when you can bring value to these sellers and show them you can storytell, it ends up in the long term going much further for you. Now, I'm going to show you something pretty cool through all this. Go back to my share screen and stop sharing my screen. Sorry, that was a really bad like intro into the next thing. All right. Will this let me know? Okay, can everybody see this? Listing by the numbers?
Yep.
Kristen?
Yes.
All right, cool.
Yes.
So I just want to make sure I was there. So I had to do a 10-day update for my property on Siesta Key, and I didn't realize how well some of our advertising and listing videos to click were. Now on Zillow, the listing page only had 677 views as of 9 days. This was a 10-day report or 10-day report with them on the 10th day, but it was really like 9 days of results. So 677 views over 9 days with 13 page saves on Zillow, 67 page views on realtor.com. But on our website, and here's the key part, is it's not only great for our sellers to see this, but now these are all leads that can come into your website if they register, stay around, click around. We had 1,286 visitors over 9 days to our personal website, which had 5,800 page views from that. So I think, I wish I had the numbers on this. I'm not going to show my client this, but I think I put behind that I think it was $380 in different ads. Now they were spread out from ads that were boosted in Ad Center, not just boosted in like Instagram, but like boosted throughout the Meta platform, and then also Ad Center ads, which are placement ads on there. Now, I show you all this is because this is the first time for me. I've been the storyteller. I've done a lot of this stuff, but in the past 6 months now, I started developing the system to show this, and it kind of continues the story though. It kind of continues showing people this is what we're able to do that's different because we storytell, because we put content behind what we're doing. We can get 63% traction to your listing more than anyone else, because what are they doing? Are they just putting a sign in the ground and moving on? So the creative storytelling stuff is going to make people click and want to know more and want to lead more, want to learn more. So to take a couple steps back now that we've kind of seen some of the results, when you face yourself with a listing or an opportunity or a buyer or a building, say you're in condos and you really just want to highlight a building and you want to get people to click on things on a link on your website from a building, look at ways for people to wonder and want more. Tell a story about that listing, about that building, about that property, and then the continuance of their wonder is that link to your website, is that link to your lead funnel. And that's what we're using this as, you know what I mean? But here's the coolest part is these are listings. I mean, I have 8 live listings now. As I'd say a year and a half ago, I had 0. Like I have active listings all the time because people are seeing things that are happening. We have a good process that are happening. I mean, granted, that's the market's shifting and things are different, but at the same time, I do highly think that it comes down to some of the way we've been able to storytell. Yes, I have a really good videographer that I just started using. He helps me with a ton of things. So yes, this is not, I'm not going to say like go storytell and you're going to come out with the absolute most amazing things. But I will tell you, if you start storytelling and outlining how you can get more creative with your listings without just standing there and being like, hi, this is my listing. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,500 square feet. It's going to be listed for $500,000. We're going to have an open house this weekend. That's awesome. I'm so glad you got in camera. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. But I would much rather hear like, hi, my name's Amanda. I really like this kitchen because of the slow close cabinets. And like let people go, well, what place is this now? Let them click, let them do something, let them do some digging. But like, I understand it's already hard enough to get on camera, but what is it for anyways? We're just selling homes. Who cares what anyone thinks? So at the end of the day, I do think that all of this stuff matters. I really didn't have a plan. I talked for way longer than I thought without having any questions. Do we have any questions?
Nobody?
And we
Dan,
can go definitely deep into anything. I just wanted to give a roundabout. We'll go ahead.
that marketing
Sorry.
plan that you couldn't download, is there a way to share it with the group after the meeting?
Yes, I will share it.
Cool.
Yeah, I will share. I will share out a link with one that I'm cool sharing all the stuff with. I wasn't actually planning on sharing any of that stuff until like right before, because I was like, man, this is really cool and it's working really well, so I want to share it. So let me make sure that there's no like public information, or maybe I can even dummy one out, and I'll just set up a dummy one just so it can see, because I know that those things just get shared, and I'm not my client's information's all of that. So
What all is
I will
your
definitely share one. I promise
what
that.
all is your videographer doing for you right now?
So my videographer right now just shoots all my listing videos. Now my listing videos are pretty extensive in the fact that like the last one took 7 hours to shoot. And some of them take like 2 to 3 hours. So I think that, you know, you don't need a videographer to go tell a story. For me, it tells a deeper story. For me, I'm paying a high amount for our listing photos and videos to be done. So it's a marginal amount for me to add extra time to get it done. And I find that, going a little bit ridiculous on longer or extensive listing videos, help in two ways. A, those clicks, because then I can use that, which pretty much acts like an advertisement. You just literally plug and play with things. And then the second thing is that you can use it for your personal advertising. Like, people are seeing it out there and being like, wow, they're really putting it forward. And I say this too is because I've noticed a big divide in the sea lately, at least here in Florida, is that there's agents who are desperate, commission breath, and just really want to only get a sale but don't want to bring value. And then there's people that show up, bring exactly what they need for value, get that listing and move on. And it's such a big divide now where there's no service added and there's no more middle. It's just really lack of service, or you bring the high value. And when you can bring the high value and show that, you'll just start, I think people will see it. So it works obviously you can see as that, it works together, all those documents with the story when you look through it. And like I said, I'll put one together for everybody to kind of scan through. I just saw Sean's comment. I don't know how much HighNote costs. I feel like it's like $40 a month.
I think it's 20, and I've got an affiliate code so I can get everybody a discount if anyone's interested in checking it out.
Okay, well, use hers if you like her, but also tell them give me some money too, Kristen.
Okay.
It's totally
Wait.
worth it, because like,
Sorry,
if
Dan.
you have like a presentation that is that you're giving out all the time, or if there's information that people are always asking you, it is fantastic, because all you do is you put it together and you save a link, and then you blast off the link whenever anyone has it. So it can be used for a lot of different things. So even if it's, lead capturing, if you want people to click on something and then it sits there and it's a video of you saying, hey, how's it going? Yada, yada, yada. This is who I am. Click here to schedule a personal call with me or something like that. So there's a lot of different ways to use it. I just have been seeing a lot of value. The one big thing I'm not sharing about it, but this is not a sales pitch for them, but I like analytics. So it tells me every time my client clicks on it, which I love. Like, I totally want to track it and I want to know. So it tells you exactly which documents they look at, how long they've spent on the documents, and how long they've spent on the whole time, and how many times they've clicked on it, which to me, it's huge value, because even if I lose out on something, I kind of know that they spent a good amount of time looking over what I put together, versus just emailing someone and being like, did they even look at that?
That's one thing I like about it when I'm using it for a listing presentation, is that I can go in and check the analytics before I go to my appointment and see what they've clicked on and see how long they've spent on each document reading it. So that way I know they're going to focus on the price. They're going to focus on comparables. They're not too concerned with my marketing. So I can drill down on those things when I sit down with them.
Is it that much different than like HomeBot?
I have never used HomeBot.
We don't
No.
have it in Canada.
So this is not, this can be used for anything. It's not real. Like you have to do all your real estate stuff. It is basically a website. HighNote is basically makes mini websites that you drag and drop a bunch of different media on to make one.
Got it.
So like it just gives you spaces where you can like drag a PDF and drop and right next to it. But then it makes it so you can just, they're mini websites. You can just copy the link and send it out.
So when you're sending things, are you having to send it like per email, or do you send it to a big list?
So everything I showed you guys probably takes an hour to put together beforehand. So all those documents I go through, none of that is auto done. Sorry. I don't know if I spend a lot of time doing that stuff. So like I only do that if someone we actually have a meeting. So I'll have a lot of leads that come through that are seller leads because I have seller lead sites out there. I have like 7 different websites on the internet that are capturing leads from people looking to get value on their home. I'll get those and I have a different system that I'll just send out like a smaller templated email. So it's easier for me. Like yesterday, I got 3 of them in. You know what I mean? So I want to respond to them, but I'm not going to take 3 hours to put together long presentations if I haven't talked to them on the phone yet. So I have like a mini email that will go out with a quick CMA and say, hey, when can I meet? I want to come over to your house. Even if you're out of town, give me a key box. I'll go in. Then I will, once I can actually get to a point, then I'll go in and do that work. But those CMAs, all those letters that, the marketing plan is all customized. Like that is all you're opening 5. I have 5 files I open, which is the market overview and like what I think about their house and what the value is going to be, what we should list at, what the market's currently doing. The second one is the commissions one. The third one is the market plan. The fourth one's the timeline, and I think I forgot another one. And the timeline's pretty much standard. Like I just have to change the address at the top.
So you only doing this before you have like a listing presentation coming up? Like you already have the meeting set up?
Yep.
Or
Yep.
are you reaching out to clients at all with this information?
No.
Okay.
I won't send this unless
basically like puts like all your old clients into an email list and sends them like a monthly CMA.
Yeah, so this is not auto either. So like the CMAs I do, I don't trust auto ones at all. Like we have, like I said, we have lead or listing lead sites out there. Like, and those are put your address in and it's not branded. So no one knows it's me. And you'll click through it and you'll say how long you want to sell for, blah, blah. And then it'll give you a Zillow and like an AVM. And it will give you a window and says like, this is how much it is. And then I'll get an alert saying, hey, Dan, someone went on the site, this and this and this. That's when I'll reach out and I'll do a quick CMA, just a quick one, but I'll at least dig in because I would say the Zillow ones and the AVMs in Florida are always off by at least $50,000 to $75,000. So it gives me an opportunity.
15%, I would say on average. Low.
So it gives me an opportunity to immediately to readjust. Hey, I just want to let you know the auto one sent you this, but I always make something up. We're salesmen, get over it. But I make something up and it's always like, hey, just sold something in the area and I was pulling some comps in the area. I wanted to like get this over to you just for you to see. When can we get on a phone call? When can I see the home? But then that's when I'll put all that time in. But I've found that now that I've templated a lot out, like HighNote, I can just hit duplicate and then it will duplicate the address and I'll go through and I'll change all the address information and then I'll start dragging and dropping, those files in there. It's just an easier way, like I said, that if you're showing up to a meeting with this amount of papers, I don't know how many people are pumped about that because they're like, this is just ridiculous. I think my own personal view, I'm still a business card guy, but I don't want to hand them a lot of papers. So for me, I'm like, hey, I sent that to your email. I usually send it to them right when I get there. Like it'll be in my inbox, my outbox, or whatever, and I'll click send right as I'm about to walk in the house. Because I don't want them to look over the stuff. I don't want them to sit and like start thinking like, what does this guy think about a marketing plan? Like first, if you've never seen it, like you don't know me. So I'll tell you that I went to, yada, yada, and I do this, and this, and I'll pick and choose what you need to hear. But at the same time, then and here's the thing is like, I know that I'm decent in person. So I know that I can rely on that. Where on the other side, I'm now sharpening skills when I leave the room. This is now going to seal the deal for me when I leave the room. Where before I'll be vulnerable about it. I think it was hard for me because I knew I had to oversell, because when I left, I'm like, I hope they pick me. At least for this now, you're leaving people with a list of reasons to be like, well, Dan did send us that presentation. Dan did have that market review. Dan, did this. And it's just those small things. Like, and I'm telling you, because people are between people they don't know and people they don't know. Like, unless they're your friends, like those are the easy ones. We're talking about the hard ones that we should have a lot of conversations. Like, I hope that I miss out on listing opportunities, which means that I'm getting enough, So this is definitely to kind of battle, the levels that people are looking for of extra service.
Got it.
Okay, then I think
So yes, in the long answer of your question, I will get you some sort of thing to look at.
So I know in your marketing plan, you begin the marketing bit of it where you pick out the things that separate that house from anything else and you start to build your story there. How do you translate that into your ads and your listing videos? Like, are you just sitting down
So
and
usually,
writing something, or Vadim sitting down with you, or how's that working?
yeah, no, well, it's on who you are as a human. I'd say that everyone's creative. So first of all, don't discount yourself as not being creative. But I love writing. So for me, I don't use ChatGPT. I just sit down and kind of come up with ideas that I think could be like comical. Kristen always tells me to be funnier. I have a hard time being funny, so I think that I find that my comedy comes with like situational comedy where I try to put myself in situations. So I'm comfortable with that though. You know what I mean? So I write how I'm comfortable. So I almost think that do the same for yourself. Like Kristen, you can tell from her memes and everything she kind of does, the self-deprecating humor. It's funny, but it's like she kind of leans into it. It's like she's not actually like that. So lean into what you're good at.
Sometimes I
And you
see
may
people
not.
try to be sorry, sometimes I see people trying to be funny when they're not funny and it just doesn't come through very well at all.
Yeah. And that's
Like
the funny
be
thing is, like,
yourself.
I find that most people are funny. Like in general, like if you kind of get a good conversation with someone, you can always find someone's funny, but like it's trying to be someone else. So, back to what Kristen's saying, for me, that marketing plan, I'm writing down ideas that are marketing based and creative based, but they're needs for me. I need to highlight this on this home. I need to focus on the fact that families can live here. I need to focus on that a boat with a 15-foot draft, or 15 inches of draft can get in there. I need, these are needs for me. I'm shading them as marketing plans, but they're my needs. Now, when I get the listing, then we're going to sit down and go, all right, how can I get these needs relayed to the people looking for those needs? If it's a boat one, are we gonna make fun of a bunch of boaters that can't get in and out of canals because they don't know how big their engine is? Are we going to, like, there's so many different ways you could do that, but like it came from, I know I need to focus on this. I know I need to tell people about this. And that's where the storytelling comes from, is if you're trying to start from being, I need to be creative, I need to come up with something funny. If I told you how many times I've changed ideas like the morning of my videos, it's because I'm like a perfectionist, but that's nothing good comes from like the idea of perfectionism. It comes from planning around what do you need to do? And we all need to do something. So like, in those storytelling moments, take what you need to do, write them down on a list and say, how can I portray this in a really stunning way, in a creative way, in a humorous way, or any things like that will pop off. Now, take a step back for a second and look at any content or advertising or any media over time, and it is basically shock and awe, crazy humor, absolutely stunning imagery. It's never anything that's just like, I just showed that. No, it has some sort of something to it. So you have to like take, hey, I need to talk about this. How can I do that is engaging to other people? Do I add shock and awe? Do I add crazy humor? Do I add wonderful, beautiful scenery? Once you can start putting those things, and for all of us, that you could answer yourself in some of those just because of your location. I live in Florida where like the sunsets are gorgeous, all this and that. I lean a lot on beauty. I do all the time. So it's easy for me because then it's a shock and awe. So I kind of get both of those. So when you start writing, you kind of start pulling at the things that would work in crawl. Now, obviously, a lot of our ads and creative is written as content now because we'll be using our content to drive that as an advertisement, right? And versus back in the day, like, you'd write an ad as a branding ad campaign where you plan to run 8, 9, 10 ads that would have, legs to them and support that main brand. With homes, you're probably only going to shoot 1, 2, 3 videos at most. Like if most listeners get one video, you might do a couple social pieces. If it's a big house, you might do 2, 3, whatever it is to get it sold. Now, damn it, what was I just saying? Everybody play back. Sorry, someone at my inspection was waving at me. Kristen, what was I saying?
The number of videos you're making for each listing.
Oh, yeah. So, okay. So sorry, everybody. I got really lost in track there. Remember that we're not, the advertising is really coming from what you're needing to tell. So that's where you can get fun with the advertising is once that content's done and you've done all that storytelling to what I need to do, you jump all the way to now that content piece and you can start, so for me, boating, whenever we have a boating one, I know to target northern areas. I know to run my ads towards, and let me backtrack here. We learn over time where our people are coming from. You better look at your analytics. I know my analytics on my website that are hitting certain homes or certain pages, or even general. I have Chicago, I have Atlanta, I have DC, New York City, San Francisco, Milwaukee, and there's one more that I'm forgetting. Either way, what do they all have in common? It's cold. So any boatable stuff, any beach stuff, anything like that, I'm going to target those ads towards those people. Because for them, that answers their need, right? If you're looking at homes in a cold area down in Florida, I'm assuming that you either need to be in a better area or you need to be closer to your mom because she's, whatever's happening with age. So I think that you have to look at the storytelling all the way back to that need. Like what is relative to having legs about saying about this home that's going to keep the conversation going, get someone to click, get them onto that link. Because at the end of the day, all we're trying to do is get two things. Someone to come look at that home, and then luckily for them to stay on our website and become a lead if they don't like that home. Because the first goal is always to sell that home, and all we can do is get them to put eyes on it on a listing or in person. And then the second one would just be to hopefully, if we have overflow or if the advertising was good enough for brand oriented purposes, then we get that overflow as a lead.
Rebecca in the chat asked if you're using Lofty.
No, I'm not happy with my CRM, but no, I'm not using Lofty. I'm with Sierra Interactive. I go back and forth. It does really well on SEO. I perform very well on search engine optimization and Google organic, but there always is issues with it. If you're with Real, Lofty is extremely affordable and it does have a good system, but I don't know. I'm the worst person to ask about websites. I complain a lot. Use the affiliate code. Yeah, no, who else has got questions? Vladimir, that is a wild video photo, bud.
I know. I just messaged. Is he AI?
No, I'm on
Are you AI
Vision
or
Pro.
is that like a funeral?
What
picture?
is it,
I'm trying
Vlad?
for the first time.
You're
Oh,
ghostly.
he's trying Vision Pro. This dude's so he put me on his fridge. Like I'm on your fridge right now, aren't I?
I can carry you around my entire house. I just pick you up
Don't touch me.
and I can put you anywhere. I couldn't think of a better group to try this on.
It's
Oh, I
the
love it.
future.
It's so wild.
It is pretty wild. I did an open house yesterday with this on. That was an interesting experience.
That's friggin' terrifying.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you why,
What
but
were the
I don't know if I know
comments?
what the answer is.
What did people say when they saw you?
Actually, public reacted better than I thought they would. That that was a conversation starter. That's the easiest conversation starter that you can have with people.
I guess
And
so.
that led to easier contact collection. So that's good for prospecting while it's going
So do you
mainstream.
just say like, hey, say cheese, hold up your ID. Takes a picture of it.
That's right.
All right, Kristen, what other questions do you have?
How much of your video content are you coming up with yourself, and is Vadim helping you at all, or is it just entirely Dan thinking it all up?
I would say that 90% Dan.
Yeah.
You can rely on, if you have a videographer that's really creative, like my videographer is really creative. Like he's a ton of fun for me to work with. Because he supports my crazy dumb ideas. But here's the thing. The reason I think it comes out well and I think some things flow is because there are two creative minds. So try to find someone that is creative, because as much as they are 90% my ideas, I'll see the video and then I'm like, wow, that's not how I envision it, because that's a good thing. I've always been a past proponent of controlling everything in all the wrong ways. I've always developed and produced and did a lot of my own production. And I think that was difficult to give over to someone until you find someone that's really, really, really good at it. And I think it's a lot easier when you start trusting them. So now my relationship with Vadim is just amazing, because now I can just say, hey, you get it, you get the idea, cool, run with it. And I can work on someone else. So that's just on our listing videos now. I think we're going to start doing a lot more soon of other stuff, but we've just been busy shooting a lot of that crap. So
Is he full time with you?
no. I hire him. No, unfortunately, I made a pact with him and I said, you are not allowed to ever get too busy for me. And unfortunately, he's almost there, because he just keeps on, there's a lot of people that need good videographers and he's just that good. So it would cost me a lot to lock him up, like probably 2 times the amount of a normal person, because he's an insane workaholic. So it's easy for me, because I don't think you need someone full time. Anyone that has someone full time, that's awesome. I congratulate you. That's amazing. I have friends that have people full time. That's awesome. If you are good with it, you only really need someone once a week to batch shoot things. And there's a lot in the editing side of things that they're going to use B-roll anyways. Like if you go to my Siesta Key one, I ran for no joke 2.5 miles. This dude had me running out there, getting video from all different angles. And you watch the video, it's maybe 4 seconds of me running. So here's the thing. Get smart with it, in the fact that if you do have a videographer, save yourself some money, come up with a solution, say, hey, is there any way we can meet twice a month, 3 times a month, 4 times a month, where we can batch shoot things and I can get 2, 3 videos a week to come out with, whatever that math comes out with, what would that rate be? And ask them. And I found that is one of the best ways for realtors to get content now. And to go batch shoot things, you can do things like in a community, on different places, and once again, or just on location, and he's going to add the B-roll stuff. So if you're I do think that's one of the hardest things in content right now in real estate, is the fact that there's a big piece of realtors that are doing a ton of money and they have videographers, and then everyone else is like, I don't even know where to find a videographer. So I think that there's just remember that in the beginning, get it for a video. If you want to shoot a video, if you want to shoot, a couple videos, reach out to someone. There's a lot of hungry videographers out there too. It doesn't need to be the best. But I don't know. It takes time. I've gone through a handful of really crappy people that I don't even know if I probably.
Is he doing your editing too? Like, does he edit everything, or do you have like VA
my
editing?
listing videos? Nope. My listing videos is all he does right now. So like anything else I do, which I run 3 other pages and like do other videos and stuff like that, he's just doing my listing videos now, which he does all my listing photos too. All my listing photos, all the, so I basically hire him per listing and he comes out and then we'll shoot for like 1 to 2 days not full days, afterwards, and then we'll get more clips out of things, and then he'll edit them and do all that.
Cool.
If you don't mind me asking, what are you paying him for, like, per listing video?
I
Do
can't
you
say
pay
that.
per listing video, or do you like pay him per shooting day?
I pay. We have an arrangement. There's too many people that use him. I'm not telling his price. Sorry, I can't share his pricing because like
Can you do you do it like per day? Like, is it a per day pay?
it's
or...
per project. It's
Okay.
per project. It's not per hour. It's per project. It's per project. So like each one's different. Where like if it's a 300 square foot house, like we shot a 500 square foot house, he spent half the time as the massive 3,800 square foot house, but at the same time didn't charge much more because the hours weren't like crazy difference, and it was all it's his pricing, like it's his, and plus we're doing enough where it's, you know, we have an arrangement on certain things, you know what I mean, on meeting. And that's the thing too, is like that will happen if you start using a videographer. Ask that person, hey, I really love your work, but holy crap, is video really expensive? That's a reality. Say, I really need to get more video. How can we do this for more affordable? Hey, if you only shoot the raw video and we get someone to edit it, will that work? You know, they're uncomfortable conversations, but like they need to be had if you want to get video more. And like the difference between someone with really, really good cameras producing it and editing it and getting it done, while I can be on the other side of things, getting more calls, more listings, doing my actual work. It just depends on what you want, you know?
I'll talk to you more offline about it, so you're not blasting him online.
Yeah, no, sorry, I can't. It's recorded.
I've done some similar stuff like that, Dan, to save costs. Like I'll get them to film the whole thing and then send me the raw files, and then just edit it myself, or have someone from Fiverr kind of thing. So that's that is a great way to save on costs. But now I find it way easier when they just edit it, especially for listed videos.
Mm-hmm. I would love to chat more, but I'm getting waved down by my inspector because they're all done with it. So here's the two things I'm gonna leave you with. I'm gonna give Kristen at some point over the next 48 hours. I'm gonna give myself 48 hours from now a link with a dummy HighNote for you guys to all check out, kind of what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and then just go off of that. The second thing I'm gonna tell you is go have a great day.
Thanks so much, Dan. I love it. I'm so glad I was you today, not someone I had to like push for content. Without sick I am.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, no. Of course. All right, everybody, keep smiling. I gotta go.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank
See you guys.
Guys, that was really awesome. I've got a hard stop in 5 minutes because I've got another meeting to go to. But if anybody is interested in learning more about HighNote, I'm happy to share some of my presentations. Mine are not nearly as extensive as Dan's, but I do have an offer presentation that I have and a listing presentation I can share. And I've also got an affiliate link that gets us a pretty decent discount off the pricing. I'll email the people at HighNote to make sure my code's still good. And then if you guys are still interested, I can send you a link.
Awesome. Thank you.
You bet.
Becca said that, I think she's gone. Oh no, she's there. You said that Real is hooking up with HighNote soon?
Yes. And so it's gonna be super cheap. I don't
Nice.
know the super details on that, but it's gonna a team out here in SC alerted me to that. So they told me to wait to get it for that reason, because it's their like in negotiation right now or finalized.
And I know Pip does like a weekly or monthly training on HighNote, right?
Yeah.
On Real.
It's really good. I highly recommend sitting through it if you can.
Yeah.
And if anybody else wants an invite to sit in on one of those Real trainings for HighNote, we're happy to share an invite as well. And reminder for next week, there's no Mastermind. It's Family Day, so enjoy your family. In the US, it's President's Day, so enjoy your president if he's still alive.
Is that what Canada does? They just take a US holiday and like, okay, we're gonna make a separate holiday on the same day.
Yeah, it's
There's a few.
new holiday.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh.
It's like every holiday we have, it's like, well, it's called this here, but it's
Yeah.
the same day. It's like, well, we're not going to work if the US isn't going to work.
Well, we're so linked with you guys. If none of you guys are at work, nothing happens up here anyway. So awesome. Well, thank you everybody for joining, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks.
Thanks, Kristen.
Thank you.
Happy Monday.
Thank
Happy
you.
Monday.
See you later.